I'm John Ward, and I'm here with Robb Hammond from AERI. And Robb, we're here to talk about electronic parts and distribution. And now that we're in Q2 of 2024, have a little bit of insight at the beginning of the year. I wanted to talk a little bit about what you foresee for the year, but maybe you start off telling us a little bit what your role is and what AERI does specifically.
Sure. Yeah, I'm the president and the CEO of AERI. And I've been involved for 30 years at the company. We started the company because there was a lack of professionalism in this industry. And so we decided to do something different. Got involved with some groups too, like IDEA, which is an industry group. It's also helped overall for the industry. But yeah, we really try to help our customers that are having a hard time finding parts. Which is always happening. But not only that, we make sure that they get good quality parts. There's counterfeits out there that you may have heard of. And so we've got all the right, people, QC engineers, certifications, and even customer service to really make this a very professional industry and try to change not just our company, but all of the industry.
So now that we enter Q2 of 2024, and we've seen a lot of changes already at the beginning of the year with the emergence of AI, other technological advancements, supply chain changes from wars in the Middle East and so forth. Wanted to dive in a little bit more into trends and business aspects that are happening and that you foresee into 2024. But first, how do you keep pulse on what's happening in the market as well as the world and global effects?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're obviously watching the news too and hearing what's going on in the industry, but also we're talking to our customers, and so we got boots on the ground, hearing what's going on in their manufacturer floors, and their inventories and things like that.
And what sort of data are they giving you? What are you hearing from these customers?
Yeah, they've got a ton of inventory on their hands right now. They don't know what to do with it, actually. Some of our customers, they have $10 million plus of inventory they don't know what to do with. And so they've come to us trying to figure out some solutions. But that's their biggest problem right now, I'd say. And then they're also trying to cancel orders with a lot of the manufacturers and distributors. And so it's been a lot of trouble for them.
So with this pendulum swing back to sort of an oversupply of components, how do you see this affecting the market overall?
Yeah, it's been a real shocker for a lot of people. And it's not uncommon, though, I don't think, that we've been through a number of shortages over the 30 years. And every shortage kind of ends with an extra amount of inventory out there. But this one is much bigger than we've seen, and it's eluding us in some ways. Every quarter, it seems like that's when it's going to get solved, like it's going to come back into equilibrium. All of the news keeps saying it's next quarter, but then the next quarter comes, and it's the next quarter. Again, listening to our customers, we are just hearing, they have tens of millions, some of them have tens of millions of dollars of parts in inventory, and some of it's at their contract manufacturers, and their contract manufacturers are screaming at them saying, we can't hold all this inventory, we've only promised to hold 90-day supply, and we've got all this here, so what are you guys going to do with this? So it's a conundrum for a lot of manufacturers right now. But yeah, we like I said, we've seen it, but never like this, and we are hoping that the next quarter, as they say, is going to be better. We are seeing, actually, for the first time, there's ECIA has a kind of a score about kind of the supply demand percentage of how much is getting used as per the demand. And they're showing it's finally reached 100%, which means that it's in equilibrium, but that doesn't take into the account of how much inventory is out there sitting on people's shelves, I don't think. So it's going to take a while still to get through that inventory.
Now that we're on the back end of perhaps the effects of the pandemic, and it seems logical that we're on this other end of this oversupply that maybe it's taking a little longer to even out because the pandemic was such a unique event that we haven't seen before. It makes sense. Now, as we head into hopefully a more bullish economic market, and we see emerging technologies like AI and the distribution and growth of electronic vehicles increasing, has that affected your business in the electronic component industry?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously during that whole shortage, electric vehicles, I think were a big part of that as well, just because of, and not just electric vehicles, all vehicles are starting to use more components for all of these gadgets we all want in our cars, which is great. And so it's definitely going to be a driver, especially like you mentioned, the government's requiring, California, I think it's 2035 that everything has to be electric. I don't know if that's going to be possible, but if that's the case, yeah, I mean, that's going to definitely force a lot more electronic components to go into all of the different cars. So I see that as definitely for a growth. AI, what we're seeing, I think is going to be kind of crazy because it's what we're seeing now is just the beginnings of it, and I think everyone's just starting to develop products and platforms to use it, and it's all going to hit right around the same time. It's just been a little over a year or so where people have even realized that this is a possibility to put in some of their products, and so I see that becoming potentially a big issue all of a sudden for the component industry because everyone's going to be introducing into their products at the same time as they're all working on it and developing on the same timeline.
So with this year off to a little bit of a slow start after Q1, how do you see the rest of 2024 playing out?
The next few quarters, again, I think it's going to be slow for a bit, but I am seeing a shortage brewing. It's the fact that all of these manufacturers that we're talking to are trying to cancel orders. They've got too much stock. I think that the manufacturers of the components themselves and their distributors, they have to be smart, and they're shutting down some of those production lines. And the distributors are probably saying, I can't fit any more inventory on my shelves. I don't want any more. Where you guys manufacturers hold back for a while. And that's very similar to what happened in the pandemic when everyone shut down these production lines. And then they wanted to turn them all back on all of a sudden because everyone wanted a new car and a computer and while they're at home for the pandemic. So I think that there's something really big brewing, probably not to the size of what the pandemic was, but I do believe that we have not seen the end of this up and down cycle with the shock waves that hit with the pandemic. I think we're going to see a few more aftershocks, and I believe this is going to be a bigger one, and we're going to see a shortage probably within the next year, but later part of the next year to compensate for all these factories getting this pushback on orders and things.
So knowing what's coming for the remainder of 2024 and the expectations of the coming years, what do you see for AERI in the near future specifically?
Well, we're kind of enjoying the rest. It's been a couple crazy years. And so what we're doing is we're actually going out and visiting customers and talking to them, setting up more customized programs, their needs. A lot of them want just in time. They want special requirements to be fulfilled on their orders, whether it be testing or different qualifications that we need to meet that we're working on. So we're actually growing. We're growing our lab. We're growing locations around the globe. And yeah, we're doing everything we can now to help the customer with customization of programs for them.
So that's a great segue into my last question really is how does a potential customer begin to engage with you?
Yeah, it's really easy. You can just contact one of our search experts and give them your requirements, and they'll get back to you quickly within 24 hours to check our overseas locations and make sure that we're getting the best pricing.
Rob, it was great to speak with you today. Thanks so much for your time. Maybe just let us all know how we can get in touch with you from here.
Sure. Yeah, on our website, all the information is there for all of our offices, www.aeri.com. And yeah, we'd love to hear from you, not just looking for parts, but if you have any insights on the market that we might be missing, I'd love to hear from you and get your input.
Great. Thanks so much. And then for more information, check the link below.